Good evening. I think we can do a bit better than that. Good evening. Good evening. It's much better. Right. My name is Aman Ashraff, and as I've been introduced, I'm an advertiser. I've been in advertising for a while. Before I proceed further, I'd just like to ask you some questions. How many of you during the break actually went out there and started tweeting about what a wonderful time you're having here tonight? Just put your hands up. Nobody. Okay, so it's a disaster. Right? Okay. How many people actually went outside and called people up and said, hey, I'm at TEDx and listening to some people? A few. Okay, that's good. Right, here's the important one. How many of you actually spoke to complete strangers when you went out for your break? Hi. Ah, good. There is hope after all. Right. So, the business of advertising, the business I'm in, we are in the business of ideas. And ideas, to me, are when a wave of inspiration hits you and takes almost crystalline form. That's what I generally refer to as an idea. The problem is how you go about looking for that idea. Because an idea can be, well, it can be many things. It can be powerful enough to change the direction in which a nation moves, that's at its best, or it can be modest enough just to bring a smile to someone's face. But it can also be used for good use and bad. But how do you actually go about finding that idea? How do you seek out this wave of inspiration? I'll tell you how you can't do it. You can't sit at the desk and look up waiting for it to descend upon you, because it's never going to happen. Tried it, too many bosses have told me off as well. So usually the way it works is people tend to have certain areas that they're somewhat akin to, they're fond of. In my case, as was mentioned, I love movies. And most of my ideas come from the movies. I'm inspired by movies. I love certain characters in the movies, and I look up to certain characters in the movies at times. It's better than the real world most of the time. On the other side, I also enjoy comics. I grew up with comics. I love Batman, I love Captain America, I love Superman, you name it, Green Lantern, everybody. And it's not so much the stories about these characters that I love, it's actually the characters themselves, because I've come to identify them as people. I don't look at them as fictitious creations by, you know, people living thousands of miles away. I actually believe that there is somebody there called Batman. I actually believe that Superman's going to come out from somewhere and save me or something like that. I actually believe in, okay, scandal about to break out here, but I actually believe in magic. Yes, it exists. And if you don't believe me, you're wrong. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is that I believe in connecting with people and in talking to people. And that's how I tend to formulate and get my inspiration. Because if I don't believe in characters like this, and again, actual characters in real life who I come into contact on a day-to-day basis, I wouldn't be able to do my job as an advertiser. As an advertiser, I have to know what makes this world tick. I need to know what's happening in the country. I need to know what people feel, what people think. Not just at the crowds that walk into Crescent Mall or, you know, Coco Veranda, no offense guys, but also, you know, the people who go to the marketplace, to the puller to buy their vegetables every day, the people who, you know, just go to buy their bread from the bakery, the gummy bakery. You know, what do they think? How much, you know, do they think about what their next meal is going to be? You know, why do they have this simple plain meal as opposed to something more extravagant? Do they have issues with costs of living? These are things that as an advertiser I really need to know. Because if I don't know these things, then I can't do my job. I'll just do one tiny experiment with you. I've got some people in the audience here who know me on a personal level, and the next set of questions that I'm going to ask I'd like you guys not to answer. I'd like the people who are seeing me here for the very first time to answer these questions. Okay, so here I am standing in front of you for the very first time. You've never seen me before, you've never met me before. If I were to ask you what kind of car do you think I drive, what would the answer be? Anybody? Just anything. Toyota, all right. What kind of meal do you think is my favorite meal?
Beef steak.
Beef steak. All right, okay. What do you think I do in my spare time? How do you think I like to enjoy myself? Watch cartoons? Sorry? Spend time with family, reading comics, very good. And let's go for one more, shall we? What do you think I do in terms of, say, extracurricular recreation? What I mean by that is, if I had the opportunity to go out of town somewhere, maybe even abroad, what would I do? Would I check into a hotel and just chill and order room service? Or would I go around sightseeing? What kind of person do you think I am? Talk to strangers, sightseeing. I find me in prison one day. Okay, so here we go. So the reason I asked you this question is, now from what I've gathered and your first impressions of me, I am a Toyota driving, beefsteak loving, comic reading guy. This is your first impression of me. Right, okay. I'm about to share a clip. This is a piece of work that I did a very long time ago. I will share the clip with you and then I'll ask you the next question. Please, clip number 1. So, thank you. Now here's the question. How many of you think now, how many of you can really believe that I did that? Put your hands up, those of you who believe that I did that. Not my friends. Okay, so there you go. Because you would never associate an individual like me. The way I'm dressed here, I'm talking in English to all of you. This is a very mass targeted commercial to bring out a piece like that. Well, then the question is, how is it that I was able to? What knowledge did I have that I used to produce a piece of communication like this? Well, very simple. I grew up pretty much, as Amina mentioned, with all my friends. I would play on the streets. I would run around in a marketplace. We'd, go cycling, play cricket. We'd fall down, scrape our elbows. I would go for trips with friends and family all over the country, and I would meet people from all walks of life. And I would just talk to them, there is nothing I enjoy more in life, even now. If I go to my favorite place to have a cup of coffee, I spend more time at the counter talking to the baristas who actually make that coffee for me than sitting down at a table and chatting with a friend. Because these people come from completely different places. They are usually from out of Colombo. They all have different lifestyles. They have so much that I am not exposed to living in a city like Colombo. And I just find it so very interesting listening to them. And by listening to them, I learn so much about them. It doesn't matter what racial demographic they come from. It doesn't matter what religion they practice. What matters is that I learn about them, and by learning about them, I'm able to understand them better. And I think that is something that is really lacking today in our society. We do not understand each other, and what's worse, we don't make the effort. We don't want to understand one another. We're quite comfortable living in this lovely little, bubble that we've created for ourselves because we think everything revolves around there. But the moment somebody pricks that bubble and it bursts, you realize, whoa, okay, so this is what's actually going on here. So how do we actually get out of this rut? We need to really learn to interact with people. I'm going to ask you or crave your indulgence just one more time. You're just going to have to do this one favor for me. I'm going to ask you first to close your eyes for a split second. Could you please do that, everyone? Close your eyes for a split second. Now, form a picture in your head of a seaside, a coast, a beach, any part in Sri Lanka, please. And you have fishermen by this seaside here. And they're all sort of pulling their nets in and, dragging the boats, they're unloading the fish. These guys are just fresh off the boats. They're wet, they're dark, burnt in the sun. They're, not shaved, rough beards, mustaches, everything. They're, shouting from here and there and all that sort of thing. And open your eyes. Now, tell me, all of you, what kind of people, now these are again, folk you have never seen or heard before in your entire life. What kind of personality do you attribute with those fishermen that you saw in your minds right now? Anybody? Just one word. Crickets chirping. Okay, do they come across to you as kind people? No, there's no there. Do they come across as very tough? Right? Do they come across as someone you don't want to mess with? Yes? Okay. Do they come across as someone that even on the worst day of your life, you will go and ask for help? Yes? Any no's? One no. Okay. Two no's, right? Okay, right, fine. Okay. The reason I asked this question is I want to just give you an example of something that happened to me a couple of years ago when I was with some friends of mine. And we decided we'll pile into a vehicle, about 10 of us, tough pile, buy some drinks, buy some bites, and drive down south, find a random beach somewhere, some obscure beach, and just, dive into the sea, have a good time, have a sea bath, and come back. So we drive down, we find the beach, lovely spot, somewhere near Koskoda, put the vehicle onto the beach, and within 30 seconds, the Jeep starts sinking into the sand. Great start to a holiday. So we try to get out of the rut. We start, back the vehicle up. We back the vehicle up. It sinks even deeper. And now by the end of 5 minutes, we are 6 feet into the sea, into the beach sand. Nothing to do now. It's just about 10 of us there. We have no idea what to do. Suddenly this old, very old fisherman walks by. And he asks, is something wrong? It's like, yeah, you could say that. The Jeep is stuck in the sand. Oh, okay, is this your vehicle? Yes. All right. And he just does this. He waves his hand, and from, say, about 200 yards away, 6 other fishermen turn up. Description, just what I described to you. They help us out. They get the vehicle out. We thank them profusely. Thank you so much. We offer to give them some money. And here's what they say to us. No, thank you. We didn't do this because we want money from you. You were in trouble. We came to help you because you were in trouble. That's all. So we were like, whoa. Mind you, these are all city folk, all of us in the vehicle. You're like, whoa, okay. All right, okay. So we need to give you something. Okay, you guys came here to have a good time. You guys came here to, enjoy yourself. Yes. Okay, so we'll have a good time with you. Wow, you want to eat with us? You want to drink with us? Yeah. Okay, fine. So we opened up the food. We opened up the drinks. We had a good meal. We ate. We drank. And here's when it got really interesting. We're about to go back home to Colombo, and we get back into the vehicle. And all of us, we're not wearing our shirts by that time. We're just wearing shorts, and, we've got sand all over us. And we get in, we start the vehicle, and this one gentleman, a fisherman, he comes up to us and says, son, turn off the engine. Okay, you don't want to say no to him. Turn off the engine. Don't go back like this. Where's your shirt? Our shirts are here, it's just dusty with sand. That's okay. Take your shirts, dust them out, and put them on. You guys are educated kids. You're coming from Colombo. You had a good time, that's great. And you're going back. You should go back the way you came. You should always project that image that you are respectable people and not drive around like a bunch of, whatever. So put those shirts on and go back happy and go back safe. We were just dumbstruck. I mean, that lesson in respect, that lesson in humility to come from all sources, but this, we just didn't know what to say. We just complied. We thanked him again. I said, thank you so much. So this is just an example of how you meet people, or you don't meet people, but you see people, and you make so many assumptions about them, what kind of people they are, what kind of lives they lead, without really getting to know them better. And I think that if we all make this effort to get to know them better, living in society harmoniously with as many races and religions that we have in this country is going to be such a pleasure, because there's so much we can share with one another. I'm almost out of time, so before I wrap up, I've got just one more clip to share with you. This is clip number 2, but before you play it, this is a clip that, it's a commercial that was produced nearly 2 or 3 years ago and won across multiple platforms at award shows around the world. And the reason it won is the commercial, when you see it, captures everything that one can say about life and people in a certain part of the world. And it's just that, enough said. So without further ado, play the clip, please.
Naku muka, naale mulukka naku muka. Yedra naku muka, naku muka, naku muka, naku muka, naku muka, naku muka, naku muka. Madras Konamaka Sulamedu Setipattu Thenapetta Rayapetta Alvarpetta T Nagar Chennaiila Odigira Saalaiyila Paarukada cinema dhaan vaaludada ooruvalam povudada. Evasakatti valandu varri veera kathanayagan dhaan katta vittu vekka sonna aada sonna paada sonna meelam kotti taalam katti maala katti poda sonna kosamittu koothu katti maattu paala uutta sonna padavikku aasapattan jaadi kachi aarambicha sottu kachi peru vacha therthalile pottiyita mandiriya aagi putta vera kachi maari putta aalu kachi kendukutta sottu kachi kalachu putta. கட்சி கலச்ச மேட்டரு நாடு முழுக்க தெரிஞ்சது, எம்பியோட ஊரு தான் வன்முறையில் எரிஞ்சது. தப்பால பேரு கட்டு 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 அப்போதே மானங்கட்டு 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 இப்போது சோளக்காட்டு பொம்மையாட்டம் ஊரழிஞ்சு பேரழிஞ்சு சீரழிஞ்சு நிக்கிறாரு நீயும் பாரு.
Movies, you know what Chennai is like. That's what Chennai is like. Learn about people, live your lives better. Cheers. All the best.